Good morning. It is March 29th, and my name is Jane Pryne. I'm the Interim Superintendent of the Sequim School District, and it is sunny out. We are excited because spring is here. The birds are singing, the trees are blooming, flowers are popping up all over. So we just want to welcome you to our weekly broadcast. We also have some really interesting news this morning on quarantining, the 3-foot distancing that has come out through the CDC. We'll also be talking about our L&I report and our spring break food service program, so stay tuned. I would like to talk to you about why we are not going to 3-foot distancing right now as a school district. Last week was a big day for our steady march back to in-person learning in Washington State. Governor Inslee issued an order amending the distancing requirement for students in school. The 6-foot requirement that has been in place for a year since March 2020 has now become a 3-foot minimum separation requirement for students. That change came about following the CDC altering the recommendation on the national level. While I believe this change is an absolute necessity to enable our planning for the return of students in the fall of 2021, I'm equally convinced that any immediate switch to our learning models this spring will not be wise nor feasible. The first inkling of some of the complications comes in the governor's order itself. The 3-foot distance is for students in classroom settings, not for the adults, and not for the adults interacting with our students. That is more than a simple issue, as you can picture the normal interactions in a school and a classroom. And having just visited an elementary classroom today, that would have been difficult. Beyond a variety of restrictions included within the order, even more severe complications are identified as we consider any changes to the present hybrid learning operations. Many of you are aware we've recently completed our efforts to get in-person access for all students from preschool age through high school. Those efforts took lengthy, detailed planning because of the intricacy of the safety countermeasures required. 3 quick examples of the complications would include transportation and ingress and egress of students, and the realities involved in the COVID-19 world that includes health department routines involving many of those who may test positive. Something such as combining the elementary students who currently attend AA and BB would instantly challenge the entire system. Not only that, Dr. Berry has recommended to all school districts in Clallam County that we maintain the 6-foot distancing due to the number of cases of younger children under 10 that have been contracting coronavirus recently. Not only would this require revamping the entire school bus routing and loading system, but would again shuffle the schedules for all drivers. The 3-foot amendment does not change the health department procedure regarding close contact follow-up. The standard would continue to quarantine anyone who was determined to be within 6 feet of a confirmed COVID-19 positive case, even though students had been operating within 3 feet all day long. To consider changing the model at grades 6 through 12 would necessitate changes to all student schedules and teachers, and this would create instant chaos. Many hours of planning have resulted in the present hybrid models of instruction and stringent efforts to keep students and staff safe. One of the lessons learned over these past 12 months has been that any notion of quick pivoting does not work within school systems or businesses. In short, the 3-foot distancing represents a challenge that we believe is more disruptive than beneficial for the spring. But it also opens the door unconditionally for the fall. We will be focusing our efforts on a positive conclusion to the school year and a successful launch of the 2021-22 school year. In the coming weeks, our families and students will be able to make decisions about their learning options for next year. Please watch for communications from the district and from your schools. So that is why we have chosen not to go to 3 feet. And I will just let you know that after we have spoken with Dr. Berry, all of the superintendents in the neighboring school districts are of the same opinion. No one is moving to the 3-foot distance. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact my office. And on that note, I would like to ask Sonia Bittner, our registered nurse, to come on and talk about the new quarantining rules.
Good morning, Dr. Pryne. Thank you.
Good morning.
So many changes this week. Governor Inslee also rescinded his travel advisory that was put in place last November. He is now saying that Washington State should follow the CDC guidelines, which are new and updated, and Dr. Berry is also supporting that for Clallam County. So this is going to affect a lot of families, especially with spring break travel. Now, travel is still not recommended for precisely the reasons that Dr. Pryne that you just reviewed, which is we're seeing an uptick in cases in our youth and young adults. And certainly we know that we do now have all three of the variant strains in Washington State. So staying within your community is still the safest thing to do, even if you have been fully vaccinated. But if you go to the CDC travel during COVID-19, you will see the full guidelines for travel. And they are that if you COVID test upon return between 3 and 5 days after you've re-entered the state and you self-quarantine for a full 7 days, no matter what those results are, you can come back to school sooner. And should you choose not to test, because families are going to have to be paying for those tests, then it's 10 days self-quarantine. So within the CDC guidelines, you will also see the CDC travel planner. That's a second site that's important you go to, because what you want to look at is your destination as well, and what their current status is regarding COVID and their recommendations. So it's kind of a two-part deal. Certainly check your destination, and upon return, there's either a test between 3 and 5 days and self-quarantine for 7, or self-quarantine for 10 days. And if you want more of those details, we should have them posted on the Health Services website under departments on the SQUIM School District main webpage. Thank you.
Thank you. Constant changes. The only thing that's constant are changes. So thank you, Sonia. And now I'd like to invite Victoria Ballant, our HR director, to talk about our L&I report. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Pryne, and hello, SQUIM. I have some important news that I would like to share with the community regarding health and safety. SQUIM School District has been working very hard to ensure the health and safety of our employees. You hear Sonia Bittner speak each week on this topic, just as you heard today. And additionally, we always have standard safety protocols in place. And with the onset of COVID-19, we have needed to adopt additional protocols. We are given guidelines by our state and local governments, and we work tirelessly to comply, because our desire is to create an environment that inspires trust. So that said, the Department of Labor and Industries, in response to an anonymous complaint, paid us a visit last month. Mr. Richard Medlin, Compliance, Safety, and Health Specialist with L&I, arrived in our offices on February 16th to do a surprise inspection of our schools and facilities. He reviewed our COVID reopening plan, our wellness checks, our PBE, our athletic plan, and our distancing policies. He revisited our quarantine areas, our classrooms, our offices, and our playgrounds. He interviewed individuals from each of our schools and requested us to provide him with our accident prevention plan, any COVID safety information and training we've provided, safety committee meeting notes, our OSHA 300 documentation, and links to COVID-related information on our website. I would be lying if I said this was not a daunting undertaking. But after this month-long process, we are so pleased to announce that the Department of Labor and Industries has informed us that SQUIM School District is in full compliance with all guidelines. We do value the health and safety of our employees, and it feels good to know that the work we've done to keep our people safe has given the stamp of approval by the experts. Dr. Pryne?
Thank you. That was very exciting news. And when we received that report last week, we were all cheering and clapping. So great news. And thank you for all that work, Victoria. I know it was a lot of work on behalf of your office and the number of people that had to contribute to all of the information. So thank you so much. And next, Darlene Appeland, our Director of Finance and Operations, will be talking to us about our meals during spring break. So Darlene.
All right, thank you, Dr. Pryne. Yes, I'm just going to talk about nutrition services providing meals to families over spring break. So all meals for spring break will be pre-ordered meals, and the pre-order forms can be filled out by going to our webpage and go to nutrition services and filling out that order form. And actually the deadline for filling out the form has been extended to March 30th. And then students on the AA, BB, or remote models of learning can pre-order their meals for pickup on April 2nd. So the pickup for the meals will be at the SCWM Central Kitchen, and you can pick up those meals from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 6 o'clock that evening. So the only meals that will be available for pickup will be pre-ordered meals. So please make sure to fill out the order form. Also, when you're going to Nutrition Services webpage, just notice that it has a brand new look, and you can see what's new on their page.
Thank you. All righty, and on that note, we are going on spring break starting next Monday for the entire week from April 5th through the 9th. So we will not be here with our weekly broadcast. We want to wish all of you a wonderful week and a wonderful spring break week. And we will see you all back here in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.